It is time to welcome our first panel discussion of the day, and these experts will talk about digital adoption and transformation of businesses. Let's welcome on stage our moderator, Manav Kamboj, Chief Technology Officer and Managing Director of FinTech PropertyGuru Group. Give him a round of applause, please. Professor Jason Pomeroy, Founding Principal, Pomeroy Studio and Pomeroy Academy, Fellow, University of Cambridge Institute for Sustainability Leadership. We have Jirayut Srisopa, Founder and Group CEO of BitCub Metaverse, and Winwi Lim, Director of Sparks Architect.
Hi everyone, welcome to the panel, and we have actually quite a lot to discuss. When I saw the topic for this panel discussion and discovered that we're going to talk about digital twins, Metaverse, blockchain, AI, all in 30 minutes, I was a little anxious, but let's get started. And maybe Jason, we can get started with you. Digital twins in real estate, in design, is something that there's a lot of buzz around, right? And it's something that you've spoken about in terms of how it can help bring more sustainability into design. So why don't you get us started and share with the audiences a little bit more about this trend and opportunity?
Lovely, thank you. My name's Jason Pomeroy. I'm the founding principal of Pomeroy Studio and Pomeroy Academy. We're designers and thought leaders of sustainable built environments. I want to just cut straight to the chase of what gets me out of bed in the morning, particularly now. For the longest time, I've been holding that black pen as an architect, designing, shaping cities, buildings, and landscapes. Somewhere along this journey, I found this incessant need for more of an evidence-based approach to design. And if I was to think about the way how we used to design, if I just go back a slide, we would create some fantastical image idea of what we think should be our city or our building or our landscape. And sometimes we lose sight of the fact that we are designing it for the people. Ultimately, we have seen our built environments filled with images like this. You create an award-winning design. This was by Yamazaki in Missouri in the States. But it had its own social political shortcomings. It was not designed with the person in place. And it lacked the recreational amenities, the environmental sensibilities. And it was doomed to failure. And if you fast forward a few decades to cities like Songdo, these smart, very technically focused cities which deploy sensors to capture big data, you kind of get the sense that these places are sensing all a bit too late. You build the city, you have created this remarkable infrastructure, you deploy your sensors, and then you're starting to sense, I might have put the park in the wrong place. I might have put the office in the wrong place. And so that element of sensing too late doesn't really tip the needle. So I think that digital twins as an opportunity to 3D replicate our physical world is increasingly important. And the research that I've been undertaking across 8 different smart cities around the world with their digital twins demonstrates particular patterns. You create your digital platform, you effectively create a 3D replica. We've seen it tested in space and aeronautics. We've seen it tested in healthcare. We've seen it tested in manufacturing. So why wouldn't you similarly do replicas to ensure that your end result is not going to be flawed? Ultimately, the digital twin platform provides you with an opportunity to shape, hone, map, monitor your existing city, and then hopefully design in real time. And that was exactly the process that we went through with the Slovak Republic. We effectively created a complete digital twin of the country, which was eyebrow raising to say the least. And that is now the subject of a book and a TV series that I'm currently undertaking. So I think, in summary, the digital twin as a 3D replica of the physical world is a very good testing, honing, and shaping tool for our built environment. But what we need to ensure is that it's not just about the software capturing the hardware of our cities. It's also about capturing the hardware, the social aspects. And only now are we starting to see greater citizen co-creation, crowdsourced data. It's great to see what PropertyGuru, for instance, are doing with their social data to influence better digital twins moving forward.
Thank you. Very, very insightful. And I have a lot of questions for you. But before I come back to you, why don't we go to Wenhui and hear how you are a content creator. I learned this morning. You use AI for content creation. Obviously, you've started to leverage a lot of AI for your work in terms of architectural design. Why don't you talk about your experience with how AI is changing both work as well as your hobby of content creation?
Hi, I'm Wenhui from Spark. I hope everyone is still awake. Thank you for sticking around. So today I'm going to show you 5 AI tools that are available to designers and architects that have emerged out of a myriad of options in the last 18 months. It's an incredibly exciting time for designers. You have a range of these tools, many of them very, very new, did not exist, say, 2 months ago, and it's incredible. For us as architects, I think the greatest impact is time and the traditional workflow of designing and taking weeks and months to produce, say, a rendering or an animation, as you all know, is now incredibly compressed to a matter of hours and days. It's crazy. The first one is called text to image. As many of you already know, programs like Midjourney and DALL-E 3 allows you to just key in what you want, and then it turns into an image. And at Spark, we have applied that for an actual conceptual pitch for a master plan. So this is a photograph from an actual site in Vietnam, this place called Bao Loc. Beautiful images, a beautiful site. You can see the clouds, it's on a plateau. So through Midjourney, you can input this image as a reference, and together with a prompt, say, I want to build a resort and a master plan on this site, and then these are the resultant images. And this came up in 2 minutes? So I have many, many options that describe the quality of spaces and the programs that you can imagine on this site. Is effectively an imagination tool, because imagination is our job, right, as designers. Okay, so quickly going through. And the second one is called text or sketch and modeling to image in real time. This is a software that I'm currently testing. So I'm going to show you a video. On the left, I'm modeling and sketching. And on the right, the program is generating a rendering in real time. So as I'm moving, it's also updating. And then below, you can see some text. That's the prompt, text prompt that I am adjusting as I'm sketching. So this is like a fast forward video that I did in 10 minutes. So it's incredible. Jason, I can imagine you getting really excited.
Already absorbed, yeah.
Okay, and then third one is called prompt to 3D or a camera to 3D, which means that you can type in some words and it immediately becomes a 3D model. I know it takes some time for you to sort of understand this. And also you can use your camera. So anybody with a mobile phone can scan, say, the 4 of us on the stage, and then suddenly we are a 3D model. Okay, so this is what it looks like. So on the left, you have an actual building, somebody with a mobile phone, and it's free, this program. It's called Luma.ai. On the right, you have people taking photo of a room for people, and then shortly, you have a 3-dimensional model. So imagine the possibilities, potential, what we can do with this. And the fourth thing I want to show you is called Dream Gaussian, which is image to 3D. Remember in the first instance, I've shown you a renderings we did of that master plan in Vietnam. This program, very early days of development, you can input an image and the image becomes a 3D model. So 2 minutes after creating this wonderful rendering of a resort on a hillside, I can input this into this program and then it becomes a 3D model. So maybe we don't need architects in the office anymore. But this is very early days. You can see that it is quite raw, but who knows, right? I mean, this is very new, and really look forward to what we can do in 2 months, for instance. Okay, the last thing I want to show you is text and image to video. So AI video is something very new, but quickly developing. So you have programs like Runway ML Generation 2 and Pika Labs. And for instance, I showed you this image earlier, and then I put it through Runway, and you have it animating and moving. Okay, and this is from earlier, spa on a sunrise resort, blah, blah, blah. So under a day, you get a full set of new images from nothing, oh, not nothing, images from text, and then animated into a marketing video. And this is actually generated from Steven's sketch. He did a sketch, and then it became a render, and now it's animated. So I end with this short AI video that I did for my side hobby. I have an AI art account called Nice Aunties. So it's my version of a digital twin, but it's an imagination parallel universe. So as you can see, this. Yeah, thank you. So what you would imagine takes months and months and months to produce. This was done in a day, this video. So lots of questions, I know, but for now, thank you.
Wow, and I was impressed with just using a little bit of GitHub Copilot to write some of my code, but this is seriously impressive. We're running out of time, and I want to give Top a little bit of time to talk about what he's passionate about. He left a career in economics to kind of build an entrepreneurial journey in blockchain and metaverse. So why don't you to talk us about the potential applications of some of these technologies in real estate, and what you and your team's been up to?
Sure. First of all, thank you, PropertyGuru, for having me here. And a pleasure to meet you all. I don't see many of the Thai faces. I figured you all flew all the way here to Thailand. And as a person from Thailand, I would like to welcome you all to the country. And I hope you spend a few days down south or up north. We have nice beaches, mountains, nice food. Price to quality ratio is great. I'm sure you will fall in love with Thailand. My name is Top. I'm the founder of BitCup. We're the largest fintech company here in Thailand. And what we've been discussing on stage is falls under the fourth industrial revolution technology, right? And we are about to enter the Web3 era. The company BitCup has been successful in leading the blockchain revolution in the country. A few months ago, we listed the first legalized real estate-backed token in Thailand, approved by the Thai SEC. We worked with the top 5 real estate firm here in Thailand called Origin Group, and it is now a public traded tokens in Thailand for fractional ownership, leveraging on the blockchain technology. And as you all know, Bitcoin is already the first successful prototype for the first international digital commodity. Right? Throughout the human history, we have never been able to create the first international digital commodity before, because we cannot create this digital scarcity with the previous technology. There enter blockchain. It allows us for the first time in human history to create digital scarcity. And Bitcoin has shown us already that it is the first successful prototype. Going forward, we are moving towards a future where we can tokenize all kinds of values. And in Thailand, we have a proper licensed digital asset exchange. And we have successfully listed the first real estate-backed token. And as we move towards Web3, the way we interact, the way human communicate has to be different for the world to be sustainable, because we emit 53 billion tons per year of greenhouse gas emissions. Money has to be transitioned from paper towards to becoming digital. We cannot keep cutting down trees, right, or using plastic for money. Same with business meetings or human interactions. We're moving from Web 1, where we use email as our avatar, right? And then in Web 2, we have websites, right, as our avatar, right? Going forward, internet will be 3-dimensional, and we would have digital twins with blockchain technology as a backend infrastructure for digital scarcity. And we will have 3-dimensional avatar and interaction going forward. And now, our second company has been building BitCup Metaverse in Thailand. We have 5 million customers overall, and we have $3 billion of customers' deposits with us. And now we are trying to link all the Web3 services on towards this Metaverse platform, where people can buy land with true digital scarcity ownership, right? And create businesses on top. They can do decentralized lending, different businesses by leveraging on the fourth industrial revolution technology. This is roughly what we do. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Top. I promise I'll come back to you, Jason. And you briefly alluded to this. That real estate assets, projects, buildings, commercial complexes are not static assets, right? They evolve, and the environmental variables around them evolve, and sometimes it's too late for you to figure out whether you built the right project because, external situations have changed. So how's digital twin technology, helping, I guess, designers, regulators, planners in some of this?
We've come a long way from the architect Mansar standing with Louis XIV, looking at Paris saying, and Louis XIV saying, make it be so, and basically creating a master plan that would take decades to complete, albeit that once it is complete, it's beautiful, but it might not have actually been fit for purpose for the people living in it decades previously. So I think it's a real-time testing tool. It's a early warning tool for some of the climate change related cataclysms of rising sea levels or increasing noxious pollutants. And picking up on what Dr. Yedlin was mentioning earlier about public open spaces as well, when you think about how public spaces are meant to be there for the people to socially interact and engage, and squares and streets have been centers for trade and commerce and communication for centuries, why would you not use social data to map and monitor how people are flowing through these spaces, like water through rivers, so that we are designing more sensitively to the needs of the people? And so ultimately, if you look at technology as an enabler to design better outcomes that are not just about creating the bricks and mortar, and eventually, you've got your spatial digital model to effectively create the bricks and mortar in physical reality, it's also capturing the social economic data, the cultural data, the environmental data to really enrich our cities and hopefully create better places for us to live, work, and play.
Thank you. And I believe there's a session later today where our PropertyGuru data science team does talk about some of these unique real-time data sets and how they can help developers and planners plan their projects better. I have a question for you, Top, and we didn't have a chance for you to answer it before we got on stage. But in my head, sometimes, when I think about technologies like digital twins or Metaverse, and specifically with Metaverse, there's this entire conversation that Metaverse goes hand in hand with blockchain, all applications. Is it so, or are there any metaverse applications for specifically for real estate which are partly decoupled from blockchain?
Right. Uh, Metaverse without blockchain is just games, right? And with the upcoming, of the AI, we will have unlimited printing abilities of technical abilities, right? So the value is shifting. Imagine in the industrial revolution era, in the previous industrial revolution era, where we have this machine, like smarter machines, physical machines, we were able to produce things cheaper and cheaper, and the value of goods goes towards zero eventually, right? Cheaper goods and services. And with AI, assets that are generated by pure information or assets that are generated by white collar straightforward labor is going towards zero. And the value is shifting towards energy rich assets like physical land next to a beach, something that AI cannot have unlimited printing or abilities. And with Metaverse, in order to create values or capture values, we have to have limited numbers. We cannot have unlimited printing of Metaverse. Otherwise, it's just games with it cannot hold values, right? We have to have this digital scarcity. So with blockchain, it allows that, right? To have digital scarcity, to have to replicate physical like property for the digital format. So I don't think Metaverse would be complete without the blockchain. Otherwise, it's the same as the previous game that we have been playing for decades now. Right? And we cannot transfer values across because people would have unlimited printing of every digital, assets. Then nothing would have value without the blockchain.
Thanks a lot. When we, you mentioned earlier when we were talking over a cup of coffee that the construction techniques haven't kept pace with the access to new design tools that are available to designers and architects now. And you could imagine with the help of some of these upcoming technologies or the ones which are already there, actually the future of real estate, but the construction techniques haven't kept pace. Can you talk a little bit more about that? And
Actually, I thought that you asked a really good question, and I thought about it, and I have an answer for you. So, your original question was, how do we use AI to design better for the future? And everything is changing so quickly, right? And I said that yes, we are limited by construction technologies. I think that ultimately, our bodies will not change. There are some things that are really basic. I mean, from this morning's discussion, there's a lot of talk about designing for humans, human skill spaces, what you said about the cities. I think AI is about data and information and allowing different sectors maybe to cross boundaries and share important information. So if everything is so transparent, say on the blockchain, and everybody has access to this information, perhaps we can use AI to balance the cost of things. So, and to balance resources and allocation, which means that ideally, we can deliver quality housing at much lower cost. Because we saw earlier, images of wonderful courtyard houses from 17th century China with the hutong and wonderful spaces. And the trend right now in Singapore, for instance, housing, everything is getting smaller. All the bedrooms, everyone's trying to squeeze a lot of bedrooms into much smaller footprint, maybe because of cost. So what if we can have much higher ceilings, courtyards, foyers, beautiful balconies, not much generous spaces like what we did in the 70s and 80s, but at a much lower cost for everyone, not just the higher sectors. I think this is what AI perhaps can do for us while the construction technologies catch up. Sorry, does that answer your question?
you did in a way, and I guess that's a very nice place to leave this panel discussion at, right? We're on top of time, but there was hope and there was a lot of positivity in what could be ahead of us. But thank you so much for this wonderful discussion. I could barely get through 2 out of the 7, 8 topics that I wanted to discuss, but such was the wide topics for this conversation. Thank you very much.